warriors. Unfortunately, this was just another example of how hardship may be a thread in life's tapestry. It was the first step toward an event that would change the course of his life. He was asked to fill in by his supervisor on a crucial night after a coworker took leave. He dealt with an irate client an hour into his shift. This person became quite angry since something was missing from their order and demanded money back even though they didn't have the receipt. He asked for the receipt per business policy, but the customer, who smelled like alcohol, insisted he didn't have one. He remained calm and tried to explain things as they were, even if the tension was rising. Nevertheless, the customer's frustration escalated and a violent confrontation ensued. The attacker was too big for him to fight, and he felt a sudden, intense agony in his chest. Others on the team stepped in and tried to calm the combative client. The physical pain was getting worse and breathing became more difficult. Lucky for us, 2 cops showed up at the site and helped out right away. In a flash, one cop had the assailant under control, while the other had called for help. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital in an ambulance. At this point, his condition had worsened to the point where he was terrified and desperate. He was only 20 years old when he broke down in tears over his unrealized dreams and his fear of dying. He tried to calm himself and thought about the unknowns of life while in the ambulance. He finally understood how delicate and valuable life is at that moment. The moment he stepped foot in the hospital, doctors immediately diagnosed a heart attack and rushed him to surgery. His awareness started to fade as he was taken into the operation room, leaving him unsure of how long he would be asleep. While he was in a coma, he felt something strange, like he was being pulled. Attempting to open his eyes, he was startled awake by a sudden popping noise. Surprisingly, he felt as though he was hovering near the operating room ceiling. Below, a group of doctors and nurses were gathered around a monitor, doing a process that might involve inserting a pacemaker or some other kind of therapeutic device. Complex network of tubes and wires attached various monitoring equipment to his body. Even though he was little uncomfortable, he watched the operation quite carefully. An enigmatic passageway appeared abruptly all around him, casting a dazzling light that begged him to come closer. As he made his way inside the tunnel, he was engulfed in a symphony of beautiful music that had a calming effect on him. Everything around him in the tunnel zoomed by, until at the end of it all, there was a brilliant light that illuminated the whole thing and gave him an unparalleled feeling of calm. He entered a fantastical world after passing through the light. Without any obvious entrances or exits, this room seemed to float above the material universe. In this mysterious realm, he felt a surge of love unlike any he had experienced on Earth. A love of tremendous power and limitlessness, not of family or friends. Feeling completely loved and understood, he was engulfed in this love. He felt completely liberated from Earth's control at that ethereal instant. In awe of this extraordinary location, he felt a love that went beyond earthly ties. As his viewpoint changed, he saw the real meaning of life, and he was filled with wonder and appreciation. As he wanted to know where this mysterious place came from, he heard a voice that welcomed him. A persona came before him a few moments later, providing a response. She introduced herself as his great-aunt while wearing a flowing white robe with lovely flowery hair accessories and exquisite gold cuffs and collar. They had stepped beyond his previous comprehension of reality and were in a location that beyond conventional explanation. She offered her assistance. He was reluctant to leave for Earth, but she gently reminded him that he shouldn't stay just yet. A second woman, her features identical to his aunt's, with alluring brown hair and eyes, materialized out of nowhere. Warmth and an odd feeling of familiarity were emitted by her smile. She validated their bond by revealing they were soulmates from a previous existence. They had a basic but emotionally rich life together as children in a beautiful rural setting, where they had a spark at the age of 19 and continued to grow closer as adults. They were blessed with the arrival of 4 children after tirelessly working together to achieve their objectives. They had been blessed abundantly despite the difficulties they had faced in life. His life was cut short at the young age of 59 due to the limitations of medical care in those days. With a smile on her face, she told him that their meeting had been premeditated. Their spirits were bound to reunite. While he wondered why they hadn't met on Earth, his aunt explained how the universe's infinite cycles interact in complex ways, sometimes leading to missed opportunities. The tunnel reappeared as he struggled to make sense of these findings. Despite his protests, his aunt managed to get over the message that they needed to go back. Unseen powers drew him farther and deeper into the tunnel. The brilliant light dwindled till it disappeared, despite his heroic attempts to grasp the edge of the tunnel. Upon his return to the hospital room, he beheld an ethereal figure standing by the doctor's side, as if guided by some mysterious power to heighten their concentration and accuracy. Regardless of the operation's outcome, he understood the great significance of this blessing as he basked in the angel's bright light. In order to make the most of this little window of opportunity, the angel hammered home the imperative of quickly reclaiming his physical form. Realizing the immeasurable worth of this opportunity, he looked into the angel's eyes and pleaded for help. With a nod of approval, the angel reached out and delicately touched his forehead. An energizing, comforting energy coursed through his entire being. During that brief touch, beginning the slow reassembly of his mind with his body. Focusing with unwavering will, he allowed his mind to merge with his body, and he became aware of the reassuring rhythm of his own heartbeat. Returning to his accustomed corporeal form, he understood he was re-entering the concrete realm. A profound blackness enveloped him, as if time had frozen in place. After a little while of hesitantly opening his eyes, he was in a strange room, his body still hurting from that intense workout. He had a hard time believing it was real and spent the weeks that followed attributing the event to drug-induced hallucinations. He asked his aunt, whose tales he had never heard, about her while he was visiting with his mom. Following a reflective moment, his mother revealed the presence of this long-lost aunt, who had left this world prior to his birth. Shocked, he described her face vividly and related his otherworldly meeting. Putting her trust in his story, his mother couldn't help but notice the striking likeness between his aunt's features and his own. His unshakable faith in the veracity of his experience was reinforced by this discussion. The unconditional love and acceptance from his mother strengthened his determination to uncover his own truth. After that, he was certain that what he had experienced was real, an astonishing voyage. But he struggled with despair for a long time, trying to make sense of the profound love he had experienced and then lost. Adjusting to his current existence was made extremely difficult by this inner conflict. In his quest for direction, he decided to see a psychiatrist. The doctor listened intently to his mysterious feelings and experiences as they unfolded in therapy. Engaging in deep talks, the psychologist set out on a mission to help him navigate these mental storms, even if he couldn't completely understand his feelings. Through psychotherapy, he learned that returning to the celestial light would require time and work, but his desire to do so remained constant. By the end of his psychotherapy, he had the skills he needed to control